Hello, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. Let's talk today about the emptiness of form and near-death experiences and dreams and stuff that comes up for us. This is in response to a question on YouTube, which I very much appreciate. Thank you for asking this. And before we delve into some conversation about the topic of near-death experiences and dreams and form and the emptiness of form and the emphasis on content, not form, which we'll get to, I want to invite you to ask questions. If you have specific questions that you would love to hear us talk about on this series of videos, please feel welcome to ask. There have been a number of them. And what I'm really interested in is what's coming up for you live. I'm here to serve as a guide, as a help, and questions are always welcome. So this one relates to the emptiness of form. If you're not familiar with that terminology, let's talk about it from the standpoint of Eastern philosophy, specifically Buddhism and A Course in Miracles. Now, this, of course, is dedicated to A Course in Miracles, but if you're familiar with Eastern philosophy, you may have heard the statement or series of statements that all form is empty. Yes, it is empty. Translate this to A Course in Miracles. It's the early lesson from the workbook. Nothing I see means anything. And then a couple of lessons later, as the thought system of A Course in Miracles begins to develop, one practice period at a time, one lesson at a time, then one of the ideas is I've given everything I see all of the meaning that it has for me. Of itself, it is nothing. It is empty of independent, inherent self existence. It is a dream. To put it about as simply as we can in words, nothing I see on this screen means anything. This pixelated assemblage of dots does not mean anything. This nose does not mean anything. This wall does not mean anything. This camera does not mean anything. This microphone does not mean anything. Subscription button does not mean anything, but click it anyway. Nothing I see means anything. Now, when we begin the workbook, and perhaps you have, you may have thought, what is Jesus actually even saying here? And more importantly, what does this have to do with spirituality? Well, everything, in fact, as it turns out, because this course helps us to see things as they are. Implicit in that statement is the admission that we don't see them as they are, and we do not, in fact. We see what appear to be 8 billion of these communication devices rolling around and fighting with one another, doing their thing, some days saying hi and good morning and being peaceful, and then mumbling under our breath that so-and-so's an idiot or something else, stronger language. That's what appears to be. But we all know deep down that there's more to it than all of these appearances. And of course there is. As I often say, gosh, it seems like every single video this comes up, we wouldn't be on the spiritual path if we didn't know that there's more to it than just what meets the eye. So, yeah, all form is empty. The term emptiness gives students of Buddhism fits sometimes. And it doesn't have to, but it does, because we're so conditioned to believe that the physical body is us and constitutes our sole reality, yet we know it doesn't, or we wouldn't be on the spiritual path, right? So, our letting go of that grip on what we deem to be reality can take a lot of time. Actually, that's what time is for. Time is also an illusion, just as space is an illusion. So, one thing that we can look around and see quite clearly, no matter what spiritual tradition or traditions you practice or grew up with, if any, we can see that everything shifts and changes here in the world. This thing certainly shifts and changes. This didn't used to be there. For example, there used to be air up here. I mean, that's just one example. Nothing that we see here in this world lasts. It is all completely impermanent, and that is so because it is illusion. Anything, anything at all that shifts or changes or transforms in any way is illusion. Reality is constant, it is eternal, and it is God. Please don't think, although we're often prone to think, that we're excluded from that. No, there is no separation of any kind. God extends himself, love extends itself, like extends like. God creates, he extends himself. The Son of God, you, me, your neighbor, all of us have the power of God to create just as he does, to extend ourself. Capital S, please. Just as he does. Like extends like. We're known in A Course in Miracles as the thought of God. In other words, an idea. Also, you may find very helpful and I hope uplifting the following sentence. Ideas leave not their source. The thought of God leaves not its source, capital S. Here in the Course, it's often written in a lowercase s, and what Jesus is saying when he says repeatedly and in so many words, ideas leave not their source, thoughts remain in the mind of the thinker. You're the thought of God. Where are you? What are you? Who are you? Yeah, you have always known. We all have always known. Of course, we can choose to deny whatever we want. That's quite clearly our choice. So let's talk about dreams and dream appearances. All of form is a dream appearance. The body is certainly a dream appearance. It shifts and it changes, and it won't be here in 100 years' time, or maybe it won't be here in 100 seconds. We don't actually know because everything in this world is impermanent. It is. We can readily observe that. The world itself is a dream. So when we experience dreams within the dream, they seem compellingly real. When we dream, when we're asleep at night, for example, or if we're reclined on the couch, having a tasty afternoon nap or something, and we dream, all kinds of things can happen. They're random. We seem to be flying through the air, or we're in a strange place that we've never been, or we're in a completely familiar place, only we're talking to people or beings that we've never met. And the laws of Newtonian physics and biology and chemistry are routinely violated, yet it seems super real. We can taste things in a dream. We smell things, hear things, we speak in a dream, we see things, and it seems real to us. Sometimes these dreams are flat out weird, and there's very little sense to be made of them. Sometimes they're beautiful and even powerful, loving and exalting. Yeah, that's possible. And sometimes they're terrifying and utterly hellish, or they're deeply frustrating, and we wake up perturbed and distraught because some of these experiences can be quite frightening indeed. These are dreams that we all have and have had. Yet when we awaken, the dream is gone. It's as though it were never there. It wasn't there. It was a dream. That's why enlightenment is referred to as awakening. And I've always found this analogy very, very helpful. When I was first starting this course, it served as a very, very good and powerful explanation to me. So hopefully that speaks to you. We're waking up from a dream. Now, sometimes within the dream, we have experiences where this device is on its last legs, and we call them near death experiences. Maybe you have had something like this. Maybe you have not. And if you have not, it doesn't make any difference. We are all having the experience of dreaming, and we're all having the experience of recognizing that we're dreaming and formulating the wish to wake up from that dream. Again, if you hadn't formulated that wish at least once, and most of you many times more than that, you wouldn't be here. Near death experiences are reported to be sometimes powerful and exalting and illuminating and light and beautiful and gorgeous and all of that. And other times, terrifying, frightening, and hellish. Sometimes people say that was the most terrifying thing that I've ever experienced. So these can seem very powerful. And what they are is just part of the dream. We call them near death because we have equated the physical body with life, yet it is not life. Mind continues without the physical body. Lesson 163 in the workbook can be very instructive here. There is no death. The Son of God is free. You know this, by the way, or you wouldn't be here. I keep saying that. It's true, after all. There is no death. The Son of God is free. Lesson 199, I am not a body, I am free. And then lessons 201 through 220 drive this one home with a deliberate rhyming scheme. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. Yeah, ideas leave not their source. So, what is a terrifying near death experience or a terrifying dream or a nightmare? It is an opportunity for forgiveness. Now, there are those that have had such a near death experience or a dreamlike experience that have used it as a wake up call. Here, as course students, we would say it's an opportunity for forgiveness. So, that is being shown to us for a reason. There are no accidents. There are no accidents in salvation. There is no such thing as a coincidence. Everything that we experience is either symbolic of our own beauty as Christ, the Son of God, or it is an opportunity for forgiveness. Anything that is not wholly and completely joyous is just that. It is an opportunity for forgiveness. So, whether you have in this dream lifetime a near death experience or not does not make any difference. In fact, it is simply a powerful form of a dream. So, let's talk more about this dream. We're actually just dreaming. The world that we appear to inhabit, that we refer to as home sweet home, planet Earth, is not, in fact, our home. It appears when we think we're individuals, individual human beings, self sustaining survival units, competing for what we deem to be extraordinarily limited resources, finite and scarce, right here on Spinning Ball of Rock, home sweet home. That's not our home. When we appear to be here, we see ourselves in competition with one another. There are wars, there's strife all over the place. Yet, teachings such as this one tell us and show us that there is only perfect oneness. Nothing that changes or transforms is of God, and God is the only reality. The all, capital A. So we go about as systematically as we need to lift the veil, so to speak. We're not seeing things as they are. We're seeing ourselves as individual self-sustaining survival units, which we're not, and we're simply not. This world that we appear to inhabit and that we appear to see with the body's eyes is not coming at us. It appears to come at us with its wars, with its past due bills, with its tax burdens, loud noises, barking dogs, all of that. It appears to be coming at us. In fact, it's coming from us. Not at, but from us. We could choose to see the world forgiven. We could choose to forgive our brother and see love. There are some very powerful moment to moment choices that we make here on this path. Really, it's one choice between exactly two options, only one of which is true, which in theory should make it very easy for us to choose the correct option. However, in practice, we're so conditioned to choosing the illusory option that we run and hide in further illusion, yet we still want the peace of God. The peace of God is not to be found out there. There is nothing out there, including no world. By the way, the Course says this. There is no world. It changes. Everything's shifting in it. The continents are not where they used to be, for example. Nothing that changes or shifts or transforms in any way is of God. Therefore, it is illusion and does not, in fact, exist. All apparent form is empty. In other words, it's empty of inherent self existence. It is a dream. So, whichever way you choose to think about that, it's a very good thing for us here in the 21st century that all of these spiritual traditions are ready and available for us. We can discover them simply by an internet search, really. I mean, who knows? I don't know what led you to this channel or what led you to practicing or becoming interested in A Course in Miracles, but this course just, it's very direct. You deserve nothing less, really. It just comes right out and says it. You're not a body. There is no world. This is a dream. So whether a dream is a near-death experience or whether a dream is simply imagining that your neighbor is an idiot or worse, it's all a dream. All dream content is illusion. The only reality is God, love, the all. Ideas, remember, leave not their source. So we're all right at home where we have always been. Anything that is not wholly joyous is an opportunity to forgive. All right. So I thank you for joining me. And I thank you very much for the question. It's a great one. And I'm always willing to take a pause in our procession through the text of A Course in Miracles to entertain questions that are coming up for you live. And since we've been recording this video, there have been a couple more of these questions. So what I'll do is I'll answer them. So I invite them. So if you've got them, please feel welcome to leave them here. And if you just want to pop in and say hello, I'm also very happy to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you. If you haven't yet subscribed, I mentioned this earlier, in a gratuitous mention earlier in the video, that's the subscription prompt right there. I would love to have you join us. It's a growing international community. And if you're at all interested in A Course in Miracles, please do join us. This course is a self-study curriculum, and it can be used either on its own or in conjunction with any other tradition. It is not a religion unto itself, for which I'm very happy. And there are a number of people worldwide who use these ideas and principles expressed in A Course in Miracles to eliminate their own walk on another tradition. All roads lead to the same place in the end because, being the only reality, of course, all doors open to God. Amen. Thank you, as always, for joining me.